Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, somebody asked if I could read the letter, and the letter has come from New Zealand. Okay, so it says, "Hi Beth and Terence, I'm in New Zealand and I love your YouTube channel and all of that. Is there any way to contact you?" and so on. Regard with asking for advice. Well, he went on then to tell us what the problem was. "I married a beautiful Filipina. I brought her to New Zealand but didn't realize I had also married Samsung."
She married to Samsung?
Yes, it is. It's just a play on words, honey.
That's
All
a very
right?
nice
She
name.
is a phone addict and spends most of the time flipping through Facebook. This has ruined our marriage. I see this addiction as being equal to that of being an alcoholic or a heroin addict. Despite trying many tactics, I've finally given up and we have separated. We have quite a good Filipino community here in New Zealand, but many of my friends also have the same problem with their wives. Our relationship has been much better since we separated, as I can now communicate with her through Skype and text messaging. I would be interested in your comments on this situation, Mike. Would you like to go first, my dear, as you seem to be chomping at the bit?
So that's another problem. That's another major problem in the marriage. Because usually now that it's more in technology, it's always been in the phone. Like sometimes Terence and I, when we go to the restaurant and eat, or we go to a carinderia, she got her tablet, I got my phone.
But that's because we're working, actually.
Yeah.
And I often say that if people were looking on, they would think us a typical technologically captured, addicted couple, because we don't seem to be paying any attention to each other at all. Actually, we're not. We're doing our job.
Yeah, sometimes when you say Terence, okay, put your phone, I put your tablet, I'll put my phone, and we eat. Okay?
Yeah, not very often. Okay.
Yeah, but we did that. And in the morning, that's our, what do you call it, Han? That's our bonding time. Reading comment, deleting comment.
That's our bonding time. Now listen to what's being said there. That's our bonding time. She is reading the comments and I'm fielding the comments. So we are both on an electronic device. So the problem is very widespread. Go ahead, my dear.
Yeah, but in your case, sir, maybe your wife is in the phone, is always in the Facebook because she was been homesick. She misses her family in the Philippines. Maybe that's the reasons why she's always in the phone. As long as she's texting with with the family in the Philippines. But if it's another thing that she's doing, then that's a red flag. And
another thing that she's doing.
Yeah, like for example, chatting with another guy, right? But if she's chatting with her family, because the reasons why also people are in the phone, because they're missing their family, they're missing their friends, but there is a limit. There is a limit, because the life with her and you as a husband should be the priority. Because that's another cancer of the society now, that people is being always in the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Skype, always been in Facebook.
Instead of talking to each
instead
other.
of talking, which is no good, because your life is with the person that you are with, that is physical contact or face-to-face contact. But there should be a limit. And to all marriage couple, you should bear in mind that social media could ruin the relationship, like what happened on our letter sender. Because
well, it hasn't completely ruined it yet. But ironically, the very thing that made them separate is now the thing that is keeping them joined, because now he says they enjoy very good communication, but it is in line with satisfying the addiction that he claims his wife has, because they're on Skype and they are texting. So in fact, they've gone back to having a long distance relationship, but it's not very far apart.
Yeah, I think my advice, the advice not just to him but to the others is just there should be a limit. There should be a boundaries where you use your social media, where you use your phone, your tablet, your laptop, because it could ruin, as I said, it could ruin the relationship, right?
Well, that's an assessment of the thing generally, but it's not dealing with the problem that our friend Mike is talking about, is it?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Our friend Mike is talking about, he's noticed something. He's noticed that there is an improvement in their communication once they split up. Now, Mike, this is a fairly common thing psychologically between couples who split. They split up, and in America, my favorite place for finding the right slang description for any given situation, and that is that they may well be now enjoying a kind of buddy sex. In America, when couples separate, the pressure of trying to keep the marriage together is gone because they're separated. But whatever bond was there is still there, but they haven't resolved their problems. So they come together and they have what they regard as being safe sex, because if they haven't found other partners, then they're still bonded to each other, albeit that it's a fairly ragged agreement, right? So in a way, you're enjoying a cyber version of that. Your buddies, your friends again.
Yeah.
But in line with her addiction.
Yeah, and I think before it gonna totally damage the relationship, go to a marriage counselor, for guidance, for advice, professional advice on how to resolve on that addiction, or maybe just if you and your wife, your ex-wife, will be back together, try to have no phone in the house.
Why don't you go, once again, the Americans have a way of describing this, and when couples in America get so busy with their individual businesses, in the case of, say, a couple who met in law school and now have their own practices, and they seldom get to meet except over breakfast, coffee, and then perhaps in the evening, hopefully before they go to bed. But they end up that they have to have dates. So the husband has to ask his wife, or the wife has to ask, why don't we have a date this Saturday and go out together? So it may well be that you might have to ask your wife, if you are still interested, and evidently you are, you might have to ask her, hey, why don't we go out on a date without phones?
Yeah, without phones.
For that one night, let's go to a movie, which is, if you went to see a movie, of course, you wouldn't have the phones on anyway. So that would be a fairly easy gradient to go in, a first step on the ladder to success of recovering your marriage. So that might be something you do. And then finally, if you go to concerts where phones are banned, where you would not be answering the phone in the middle of a concert. So start trying to find things that you could do together where a phone is naturally out of place.
Yeah, that's good advice, so try to for one day, you just set a limit, if you go back together for one day, just in the morning, and then in the night, 1 hour in the night or 30 minutes, just to communicate to the family of the and friends, so that your wife can communicate to his family and friends, and then after that, no cell phone at all.
And as Beth said, assuming that the phone calls and the time that is on the cell phone is not quality time being spent on a long-distance relationship of which you are not part.
Yeah,
So there's something to discuss there with her.
That's another problem. That's the biggest problem for now, to have that addicted on the social media, you know, because it's also like in the morning we also want to know what's happening on other people's life, right? It's just like on our psychological mind, in our mind, that I want to look at my on the phone on what they're posting, you know. So that's another thing, that's
Well,
another
actually,
problem that we need to cut, you know, to minimize, because you've been very interested in others' life, right? On others' posts, but you just didn't notice that your family is already been your relationship is already taking apart. You know, so
Yeah, you can. I always tell Beth, she hates me to say this to her, but if she says, can I do this, or should I do that, or I often wonder if it would be okay, and stuff like that, you know, just normal checking in with your partner. And in those cases where I may not particularly agree or like it, I say, you can do anything you want. And it's true. Each partner can do whatever he or she wants, as long as you understand that there will be a price to pay, a consequence. So if you wanted to go out, for instance, if you were a guy that liked to go out and drink with the boys, and lots of people find that a bar is a place where they can relate most easily to, say, their friends. They go out and they have a quiet drink, and so on. You can do that, and you can do that, say, once a week, and your partner would agree to it. And then if you started doing it 2 or 3 times a week, or then every time after work you would go, eventually there will be a consequence. And the consequence usually is where you start to actually get distant to each other. And then, as this couple have now done, they've parted because being together was uncomfortable. Now, from what I read, and from the work of various counsellors that have written books, I read a lot of books on this. As you know, I'm a reader. And one of the things that the counsellor that I liked the work of said was, I like to work with couples before they stop caring. Now, that's a really important thing, that if you can work together before you reach that point where you say, well, it doesn't really matter, I don't care. When you find yourself saying, I don't care, you've reached a dangerous point that tells you you're going to have a consequence that is going to be hard to come up and confront. Honey?
yeah, you know, so if you got problem on that kind of situations, you know, where your wife and you has getting part because of social media, because of always been in the phone, you know, talk to her, talk to him, or talk to your husband, or talk to your wife, you know, and say that, look, it seems that it leads into a big problem, you know, because you've been far away. I never know you anymore, because you're just always be on your phone, you know.
And that's before they separate.
Yeah.
And then after they separate, what happens then?
Yeah, after you separate, you just been looking back and says, why did I let it happen? You know, which comes of regrets.
Right, which begs the question,
Yeah.
is, since you have been separated and you're now Skyping and texting, what is happening to her? Because we're talking now to Mike, who is the man of the marriage, but we don't know what the feelings are of the lady.
Yeah.
And as Beth so rightly said at the beginning, there's a very good chance that there's some homesickness there, and being in a constant touch with one of her siblings, her mom. Filipinas are very close to their mom. Beth sees her mom every day, and she's down there. And Beth's sister, Bewley, calls her mother every day, and that's a fact of life. So the fact that your Filipina is on public media, social media every day, who is she on it to? And that might be a very crucial question to ask and get an honest answer for.
Yeah. you know.
If you can feel that it's honest.
Yeah, and then maybe, you know, maybe you could able to talk to the family of your wife, you know, like, look, I want to reconcile a relationship, and once it reconcile, you know, can you just have a specific time where she can able to communicate to you, you know. You could tell to the family, because I wanted to reserve, and I wanted to nurture, and I wanted to recover the relationship that we got. And if she's always in the phone, then that's gonna be another trouble.
Yeah, as long as you don't assume
Yeah.
that she is on the phone to that family.
Yeah.
That's the point here.
You know, so
I mean,
hope,
if she was willing to separate before she would stop using that phone, then it seems like she has already reached that point where she doesn't care. You know, he's saying, maybe at some point in one heated argument which led to the separation, he said, if you don't stop using that phone all the time, then we may as well separate.
I think there's more deeper on that, you know, not just
It can't get any deeper than that, honey.
No.
It can't get any deeper than saying, if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to leave you. How can it get
Yeah, but
can it get deeper than
yeah,
that?
but possible, maybe it's already been that setup has already been long, you know. It's not just happened 1 week or 1 month.
No,
that, you know,
that's true.
It's been a year.
That's
Maybe
true.
it's been long that the husband already feel that there's already been a distance between the wife, between him and the wife, you know. So just to the newer, you know, just to the new that other that have problem on that, before it's gonna be a long distance between you and your wives, you know. Try to resolve it before it's too late, you know. And you know, it's just a matter of understanding. It's just a matter of talking to each other, how we gonna set up this, you know. I know that majority of the Filipina that is married abroad, you know, you're always been messing your family here in the Philippines, your friends.
Yes.
You know, so you need to explain to your husband. If your husband feel that there's already been neglections because you're prepared to be in the social media, so it's just a matter of talks. And at the same time, to the husband, it's just a matter of understanding. Just remember that your wife is just one there, you know, especially if she has not a lot of friends that she able to talk to, and she's missing the family that she loves most, because as a Filipina, our family is the priority, you know. We always we have a close family ties, you know. So that's another aspects that you need to understand when you're married to a Filipina, you know. So not just all about that, oh, why is it you're always been in the phone, you know. So try to understand that you came from work, your Filipina is just in the home, and she's just been in the four corner of the house, you know. So maybe that's having a social media, having always been in the phone, is one way to cap up and to the loneliness that she got. Okay.
Right. As we say, always a lot of assumptions there.
Yeah, a lot of assumption. But read the comments of our other of the viewers. Maybe you can get more specific
even more assumptions,
ideas, more specific solutions on your problem. Okay, so again, thank you for sending your problem. I know that this problem was been raised because of the alcohol over cigarette over the wife, right?
addictions.
Yeah, addictions of cigarette. You know, so Sir Mike, hope you gonna reconcile with your wife. And again, it's just a matter of respect and understanding.
If you have trouble, Mike, in convincing your wife that she has an addiction rather than just a love of using something, then issue this as a challenge. And the fact is that if you can't give something up for, say, 2 weeks, that's an addiction.
Yeah.
You should be able to give something up for 2 weeks and not go insane. And a lot of people, I mean, for instance, if you were a heavy drinker or a heavy smoker, 2 weeks of giving that thing up would be hell, because it's an addiction. Well, it's not so easy to pinpoint being on the phone as an addiction, but as you have rightly said, you could consider that her use of the phone to the excessive amount that she does use it is akin to equal to, say, an addiction of heroin or tobacco or booze.
Yeah, so just go, it's a marriage counselor, you know, just go to speak.
If you can get us to do that,
Yeah.
that would be ideal, because
Yeah.
speaking together to a third party, the third party can bring in, well, they can retrieve you if one of you falls into that black hole of attack. That's what they're there for, to reach in and pull you out and say, let's look at this again. That's what
Yeah.
they're there for.
Yeah, so please like, comment, and subscribe, hoping you get something from our opinion and our subscribers' comments.
And let us know.
Yeah.
We'd like to know how it goes.
Yeah, we wish you the best. Have a good day and God bless.